those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen. Nerds International proudly presents.
We want to take you on a quest for knowledge. One that will take us from ancient medieval fantasy across the far reaches of space to the distant future. To many savage worlds.
So this is the Wild Eye podcast coming at you from Con on the Cob.
That's right. Yeah, we just wanted to get together, share our thoughts on. Well, we played several games, different systems, but since it's a Wild Eye podcast, we're just gonna stick to Savage Worlds games.
Yeah. So the Savage Worlds games that we played at this convention. Let's talk about Wiseguys.
We're gonna start with the last game. Sure.
No, we'll start with the first game then. What was the first game?
The first game was Trailer Park Shark Attack. That's a module that you can get. Drive-through RPG. That's from Doghouse Rules. Mm-hmm. Carl Kiesler himself. Mm-hmm. If you ever wanted to run a game with awesome props like Carl, you can get that. You print it out. The tiles, beautiful. It comes with a bunch of pre-gens. It's props and everything, and yeah, we played that. It's a bunch of Parkers, rednecks, and they have to survive an attack by sharks. So,
how did the sharks get to the land? Tell me that. That's important. They got legs. We're talking legged sharks.
In the event, in the package that you get 3 different scenarios. Right. And the one we played was the one where an alien spaceship crashes.
Oh yeah, because you can roll for them, can't you? Or is it just you pick the one you like?
Yeah, you pick the one you like. You got one that's Sharkicane. It's like Sharknado, but with a hurricane instead. There's another one with mutants. There's like experiments going on. That one was with aliens. And there's a twist in there. You find out where they come from, what's going on. It's really funny. The characters and players got into their characters, and the thing that I like about it, and I think people liked a lot too, is the fact that you get 24 characters, pre-gen characters, you draw at random, and when you die, you just pick another one and continue.
When you have to come up with like a reason for why they come back into the story, or
yeah, but, I mean the park is flooded, so they can be in a tree, they can be trapped inside another trailer,
awesome.
Or just come in and on a boat or something like that. So. We went through more than half the stack. I had 6 players. So Uncle Jay was at his 4th character by the end.
Nice.
Most people had 2 or 3. So yeah, it was a fun time, man.
Sounds good.
That was my way to kick off the con. That's something I picked up at the last minute. I wasn't sure what I was gonna run, and saw that. It's like, that's perfect. Let's run that.
Thanks for the invitation.
Go yourself.
You went and played Genesis instead, so that's what happens.
Yeah, we were playing Genesis, which Jamie Pearson of the RPG Brewery has been quoted to say the Savage Worlds killer.
Yeah.
Gary, just give a 2-word quote on, is it the Savage Worlds killer? He's just being quiet. But by his expression and silence, I think we know.
Nice. No,
well, Gary said on my other podcast already that he didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. The next game, I believe, was the
Necessary
Evil Breakout. And that one was just Gary that played in that.
Dude, that
one.
was wicked. That was total kick-ass, man. There was so much cool stuff that happens. Uncle Jay's nephew, Matthew, did this wicked job playing this character called Chainsaw. Mm-hmm. And if you like riffs, like I like riffs, throwing the extra dice was fantastic. He did some cool stuff, man. We were like strength and 46 damage against on a sweep with a chainsaw. Mm-hmm. Like, dudes were being mowed down. It was spectacular. We went from there to a few other places and stuff like that, but I was playing this character that could clone people, so I cloned this guy, who's Colin. Colin was playing Hangman. And he had this noose that was like this magical noose that he could like flick out and grab people and then like hang them and shit,
So
which
you
was pretty
stole-
cool.
you
So I
stole
stole
his
his powers. Yeah,
Nice.
which was awesome. And then I think I could steal anybody's power, so I stole a few other people's powers and stuff like that. But it's like sometimes when you're doing damage, you're rolling strength, and then it's plus D10 plus a bunch of other stuff. And I was doing like 30, 40 points of damage the whole time. It was fan-frickin-tastic. Superpowers with Uncle Jay was awesome.
So for those that don't know, Necessary Evil is a game where you play the bad guys, right?
Yeah, we were
in a
trying to-
superpowers campaign.
Yeah, trying to break out of this little island in New York. So we had to
Like
go.
Escape from New York.
Yeah, and it totally was, man. It was awesome. We fought a vampire, Frankenstein, and some like shark dude that was in the water, and then some lady that he took out. Like, you might want to put that back in because chainsaw's hitting for like 50 a pop. So that was
Nice.
really fun, man. It was wicked
and
fun.
By the way, we're going to have Uncle Jay on the show soon. An episode on supers, because neither one of us are really that much into supers.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but that sounded really cool. I'd love to play a supers game, but I don't really watch that kind of stuff.
And Uncle Jay, that's his thing, and he's run a bunch of necessary evil and all that. So we're gonna discuss supers and Savage Worlds
Good.
with Uncle Jay.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun whacking evil dudes, even though you were evil yourself.
Yeah, whacking them off. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Twice.
And then
God, is it hot in here?
whack.
God, Eric, he just got it, didn't he? Me and Gary.
No, because no, never mind.
Way to show up 5 minutes late for the party, bro.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then we, there was another game scheduled, but our friend Uncle Jay that was supposed to run Rippers, and there was a lot of partying last night. So this morning,
He
a lot
drank
of people
3
went
bottles of
up.
whiskey to himself, and then was supposed to run Rippers this morning, which would have been great to talk about because, you know, Rippers is a very interesting thing, and he's obviously a very talented GM, but sadly, 3 bottles of whiskey equals I ain't running a game at 9 a.m.
Yeah, plus
So
you were still sleeping, and Gary was still sleeping,
Yeah.
or kind of.
I didn't have to be at any games. I was supposed to be in another game by somebody else who couldn't make it to the con, but so it was fine.
Oh, you hadn't. signed
Yeah,
up.
I was booked in for one, but sadly they weren't here, so it was all right. But he was actually supposed to be running Rippers.
Yeah.
The best part is Uncle Jay is me this year that I was last year. He's
Yeah.
sitting beside me. He's like, man, you don't know I know how to party. I've been partying since I showed up. I've been partying straight. I don't even think I stopped partying. I've been partying so much. You know, damn fool. He looks at me. He's like, oh, man, you're my favorite. Me and you like brothers.
He keeps telling everyone that they're his favorite,
Yeah,
and he's
so
just like, you know, you're my favorite, man. You're my favorite. You know, back down in Tennessee, you and I would be best friends. You're my favorite.
And then he kissed me. I'm like, dude, I'm sweaty. And then he's like, oh, man, you're so salty. I told you I was sweaty.
So this is the guy that we're going to have on to talk about supers very soon.
Oh, it was awesome.
Let's see if we can
He
get
was
anything
on-
useful
he
out
was
of
on
him.
the Savage Riff's actual play too, so yeah, he's a great guy.
He was.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Shortly
with
after
Uncle
that
Jay.
last sip of vodka, he did that maneuver that is called like head nod, fade out.
Yeah, where you just fall asleep, set like with your sat bolt upright, but you still fall asleep.
And then you wake up and you look around and you don't say anything to anybody and you just walk away. He's like,
Yeah.
I can sneak out of here.
All right, we got 2 more games. You two and James join a game right before Wise Guys.
Holy
a short
f***ing sh**.
and
Oh my god, sorry, I forgot we're not supposed to swear on this podcast for a minute. That just came out of me. This was 100% the worst RPG game I have ever played in my life. This guy did not use the Savage Worlds rules. So this was called Ghost Town Grannies. The plot of it was this, right? You're a bunch of old women whose van is broken down, whose bus is broken down in a town full of rednecks,
Yeah.
and you have to find fuel, right? But the thing is, all he did to start off the game was like he just kept telling us. He kept saying, you know, you're old grannies, so there's going to be some very un-PC humour. You're gonna be there, and you're gonna be making some very racist jokes, okay? And that's fine. And people always say to me, they say to me at cons, "You're racist," and I say, "No, I'm not. It's the grannies saying it." And
so wait a minute. So he told you what was going to happen.
he told us what we were going to say,
Okay.
like things like this.
Yeah.
But we didn't say that kind of stuff. But it did get pretty weird. But we were just like, I don't know, pooping ourselves and stuff like this. But the thing about it is, in the game, I should say. But the thing about it is that he didn't know or use any of the rules of Savage Worlds, and I mean any, not a single one.
What about the cards?
He used initiative cards, but then he didn't know how going on hold worked. He didn't. Every time you rolled on anything, you would succeed, no matter what result you got on your roll. To the point where I rolled a crit fail and still killed a guy in one hit and didn't even have to roll damage.
Vaporizing his head.
Literally,
by
it was
slapping him.
Yeah, with an unarmed slap.
Vaporized his head. And that was on a critical failure. You rolled Snake Eyes and vaporized a dude's head by slapping
He
him.
didn't even get me to roll damage. I just rolled a crit fail and he went, you slap him so hard his head turns to dust.
And then the critical part was that he went through his head and hit the wall and broke his hand. That was the critical failure.
Okay, well, what about benefit of the doubt here? That was what, an hour and a half long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could it be that he was trying to just speed up quick combat or anything like that?
No, it wasn't that at all, because it was booked in to be an hour and a half game, and he had a couple of encounters in there. He played through the full combat, but it was complete piss. There was even a bit where he rolled a 4 on his dice to shoot one of us, and he goes, I got 4 on my shooting, I know that's not enough to hit any of you. And we're like, me and Gary both said, it is, because that's what you need on a ranged attack to hit somebody. And he just went silent for a minute, and then just moved on and went, all right, so the next guy goes for a hit, and he just didn't listen to us. Like we knew that, because that's just a simple rule. I don't care if you don't want to use some of the rules, but he wasn't using any of them. Gary, tell him about the phone thing.
What was the phone thing?
When he was looking down at it.
Oh, so anyways, we're doing this deal where we're attacking some people and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to whack somebody with my cane. So I'm like, oh, you little whippersnapper, and I take a strike at him, and I roll a 5, and I look at him, I'm like, I got a 5 on my fighting roll. He looks down at his phone, and he's like, yeah, you hit, and then I look at his phone, and it's on the desktop, like the main Android phone screen, and just icons. I'm like, what did you just look at?
And he kept referencing a character sheet that was blank. Like he just kept looking at it, and he was like pointing at it, looking at it, and had no information on it. It was sheer madness. It was like
crazy.
But I heard that he converted all the powers from the original drama world.
No, okay, so apparently this came out from from Gamma World, but it was a misspelling, and it got changed to Grandma World. But anyway, the point is that he said, oh, I've converted all the powers. He didn't. He just copy-pasted them and put them on the back of a Savage World sheet. But all of the text and the flavour and the damage and everything was exactly the same as the Grandma World ones.
Yeah.
They were the same.
It was the weirdest thing, because, like, if you play Savage Worlds, you know that combat's supposed to be fast, fun, and furious, and it doesn't really last that long. So one of the characters could do something where they could berate somebody and make them feel bad or something like that, and give them confusion for 1d6 rounds. It was like... Oh, yeah. Man. So he rolled a 6, and the boss guy was confused for 6 rounds, so he kept turning the card sideways. And what was the guy's name? Sam?
I can't remember.
Oh, jeez. The boss guy.
Yeah, but this guy had an edge where he could... No, a hindrance where he was confused, like, any time he went into a scene for a certain number of rounds. And so he just... the guy basically couldn't do anything for the whole game.
Yeah,
because every time we went into a combat encounter, he would be confused.
That was the hindrance. Was like mentally slow. You have to make a check or be like you couldn't figure out what was going on for 1d6 rounds. Could you imagine sitting there for 6 rounds while everybody else is doing stuff? Like, and
so what happened? The only notable thing this guy was allowed to do throughout the whole game, this guy it was his first time playing Savage Worlds, was at the end he hit the boss after he was already dead. That was it. It was one of the worst.
I don't get this, because to me it sounds like the way he was running the game for you guys was to make you feel good, like you were really badass,
like empowered, yeah.
But at the same time, the guy that's never played pretty much sat out the whole game.
And that's part of the problem. Is like when you're playing these games, there needs to be a certain mechanic that determines whether or not you pass or fail. Right, that has to be in there. If I say I'm going to punch Harrison in the face and I got to roll some dice to see that there was none of that. It was like you just succeed no matter what you rolled. Like I say,
He didn't even give us bennies until the last 5 minutes of the game. I said, "Do we have bennies?" And he just got them out and put them on the table. But they might as well not have been there because we succeeded at everything.
You didn't need to
It was so
reroll.
bad.
It was so bad.
So we rolled in the very first encounter. We rolled into the mine, and our premise was we were going to look for a sandwich. We thought that's where the restaurant was. We were going to go get some sandwiches.
Yeah, because we're old.
Yeah, it turns out there's 2 chickens, 2 pigs, and 3 rednecks in a still. And so we roll up in there and we're like, we heard there's some sandwiches in here. We're come get some sandwiches. And he starts dealing the initiative.
And here's what happened. The worst thing is that Gary, he turned his initiative to the right? So he said, I'm on hold. Then he said, okay, I'll roll to interrupt. And the guy just said, so Gary rolled his agility. And then the guy goes, you hit it.
He said that hits. Like, he didn't roll agility to see if he beat or didn't beat my agility.
Yeah, and then so Gary hit, then because of this, in air quotes, he hit the chicken into the fire. The chicken died. The other chicken took its turn, went into the fire itself just by sheer accident, and then everyone else blew up. That was the whole encounter.
He slides an area of effect underneath the still and burned everybody, and that was it. Like, there was 2 pigs, 2 chickens, and three hillbillies that all just went up in smoke, and that was the end of the first combat.
Gary took one action, and it wasn't even a proper action. He was just rolling to interrupt, and for some reason it killed somebody.
Killed this chicken in the boiler. I think out of everything that I played this weekend, that had to be my best, or at least most memorable game. I've never experienced anything like that. I don't know what happened. It was like playing fucking Twilight Zone.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
Where I was like, I tried to poke Harrison, and I was like, I don't know, should we leave? And Harrison just moved his arm back because he's kind of leaned back, like, I don't know what's going on here.
You know what? Only because it was short, I just knew. I can't wait for this to be over, because I said to him at the beginning, I was like, I got to go at 3 because I was going to your game, Eric, and I was just like, thank that was short. It was so bad. It was so bad. And he kept on going on about the Mexican bus driver, like he wanted us to make a joke about it, and none of us were taking the bait because he obviously just wanted us to make some racist jokes. And because James obviously is Asian, right, who is our friend that was playing with us, every time he said, yeah, we should do some racist humour, he just kept on looking at James all the time. And I was like, mate, what's wrong with you? You're a maniac. This is the worst. It was the worst game I've ever played in my life.
You know what else was funny too? He's like, he was going on about the little miniatures. So he printed out Oakham Arts grandma little miniatures. He's like, yeah, my friend David made these. And I'm like, David Oakham? I'm like, you know David? And then immediately he starts backpedaling. He's like, well, I don't know him personally, but I talked to him on Facebook and a few other things. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, God.
It was probably the most memorable event, besides Steven dressed up as a dragon.
Well, he also said that he listened to the Wild Die podcast as well.
Yeah, he said he listened to it once, so hopefully he won't be listening to this. But if he maybe he's going to stalk us. He's going to be like, what's his face, Adam Sandler in that movie where he goes back to school and he phones up. That guy's like, I'm really sorry when I did, and scratches the name, right? That's going to be him.
He puts on some lipstick and is about to shoot him. Stevie Shimmy, yeah.
Oh, well, with that... Well, it was
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that happened. But yeah, like Gary says, it's memorable.
I'm not. That was amazing.
It was pretty good. No, I'm glad it happened as well, because it was so funny.
It was so up there. It was the strangest thing ever.
If it had gone on for 4 hours, I think when we'd taken a break, I would have just not gone back.
It's like walking into a conversation with a drunk dude that's talking to like an invisible friend of his as they're walking down the street. They're having this conversation and you somehow get wrapped up into it, but you're never really part of the conversation.
One more thing as well is that we kept on saying things we wanted to do, and he would just nod and then just look at us, and nothing would happen. Like, it was so weird. So there's a point where I said, so when the game starts, our vans run out of fuel, right? And then I look over at the gas station that we've stopped at. For some reason, it ran out of fuel exactly when we got to a gas station. F*** knows why. And I turned to this like Texan guy at the gas station. I go, is there any gas? Like, my character says it, and then the guy goes, no, we ain't got no gas, but there's some up at that mine up there. And then I said, okay, I'll go to the mine. And the guy just looks at me and nods.
So what was in the mine that was supposed to be the sandwich that we were going for? How did that come about?
Because we thought when he said Sasquatch, we thought he said sandwich.
Sandwich.
Right. And so then I just said, I'll go to the mine, and he just nods. And then I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, because we think there's going to be sandwiches up there, I'll go to the mine. And he just nods at me. And you had to say everything 5 times before he just said, all right, so you go up to the mine.
So after the first fight with the cantina thing, the very next fight, all he did was take the minis. After we killed one chicken and everything just went to hell in a handbag, like that just annihilated everybody. So he takes all of those off the board and he puts on like new guys. So we're at the boss fight. And then the confusion things happen. So the main boss is looking off at something. But behind the boss was our treasure, which was a pile of gold and sandwiches. And Harrison sees the pile of gold, and he's like, right, I don't need gold. I'm not interested in the gold. I'm leaving. So the guy's like, oh, there's sandwiches there too.
Yeah, he just made up on the spot. Because the weird thing is that we got to the final boss.
It was so messed up.
We got to the final boss,
my
and he
God.
just expected us to fight them for no reason. And they didn't move to attack us. We didn't move to attack them because there was no hostility going on. And so we just went... He was just like... The guy just started saying this weird like, the boss was like, sandwiches. And then we just went, all right, bye. And just left. And then he was just like, oh, there are sandwiches there, as we were trying to leave. And we were just like, okay, fine. I guess we'll stay here and fight.
4 sandwiches.
Yeah.
We didn't even fight the first people. We literally, like, smacked a chicken into the thing and it exploded, so they all died. So there was no fight. So we were like, we were still walking through this this dungeon, with no reason to fight anybody.
It was so bad.
So what the hell?
Oh
my
man.
God. It would be literally like playing Savage Worlds with like your 3-year-old nephew as the dungeon master, right? Just making stuff up.
It's not even that.
No rules, no nothing.
It'd be like fucking just attaching a pen to my cat and expecting that to fucking write a better adventure. Like, it was so bad.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
You know what the funny part is too is like, this is not a slight on David Oakham or his ability to write, because that actually I had a good time. It was fun playing with Harrison and James because like they're so animated, and the three of us just make these retarded old... I was in an outhouse changing my sanitary napkin because it was one of my hindrances. And so, like, just dumb shit like that was happening. So it was actually a really fun adventure, or I'd imagine that it would be. Like, I'm pretty sure that grandma world is actually probably pretty good.
You know, if there was a proper conversion and we played it using the rules, I think that would have been a really good laugh.
Yeah.
But and if that adventure had made sense also, that would have been good.
Okay, so it was actually a David Oakham adventure. It wasn't
It was his
guy that made it up.
No, it was David Oakham's Grandma World's adventure, I think, that he converted from Gamma World, I believe, into Savage. I think David did it.
The only trouble is that a lot of that, the actual adventure didn't make any fucking sense, and I don't imagine that David Oakham would have made something like that. No. So I think that the guy either hadn't read it or had bullshitted a lot of it. Because at one point
he could do better.
Yeah, maybe. Because at one point he said you go down to the bowels of the cave. And he just full on just showed us a picture of an anus on Google Images.
What do you call it when you go in and you have your butt looked at?
A colonoscopy.
Yeah, it was like a colonoscopy image, and he's holding it up on his phone, and we're looking inside some intestines, and there's like this, like, looks like a pink sausage lining with a bunch of poo and stuff in there, and he's holding it up to us. Oh man, there's so much good stuff that happened.
Can you believe this shit, Eric?
Like, we're not making this up.
Madness.
It was the craziest
It happened.
thing. It happened.
Just shit, man.
Like, wow.
Insanity. So that was almost some Savage Worlds that we played. We came dangerously close to playing some Savage Worlds. But after that, I was really, really glad to play a game. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was good because immediately after I had Wiseguys with Eric. So Eric, tell us about that. You ran Wiseguys.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think I mentioned it before. I've been working on this for a long time. Well, this specific adventure, anyway. Working on props, a bunch of terrain, and all that, and good fun adventure. That one is like, well, it's called The Hills Have Knives, and it's kind of my spin on The Hills Have Eyes, but with wise guys instead. Tarantino a little bit in the desert. Start out as one of your wise guys' friend is captured by the cops. But I mean, there's a lot going on with that, and freeing him, and then finding out what happened to him because the boss got captured, and money got taken away, and you end up in this little hillbilly farmstead and have to find them, and a bunch of stuff happens, explosions, and people coming out of the trunk of a car.
That I really liked. It was really cool because
Monster truck.
The monster truck, that was awesome. So you have it's really cool because you kind of have to track down your boss and this 50 grand that's gone missing and stuff like this. and when we travelled to this like second area with these hillbillies, and it really felt like a movie because I imagined it the way it was is like things kept just popping out. When the battle started, loads of stuff just popped out and started attacking us. So there's this dude with a dynamite in his hand and two cougars, not old women, but actual cougars. And they just jumped out and started attacking us. Then this woman pops out of a trunk with a f***ing gun in her hand. There's this guy on an old water tower, and everything just comes at you at once. A f***ing monster truck comes out of a barn, right? And it's just crazy. Everything all comes out at once. And I imagine if this was in a movie, it'd be like really quick cut shots, like boom, 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 and then everything you see it all at once. And I just imagine it's the way I imagine it, but it was also the way that you ran it and told it. Like, it was just crazy. Like the way Eric kept putting stuff down. He goes, "You see this guy come out with a dynamite and a cougar," and then we were like, "Oh shit!" And then he's like, and then this trunk pops open, and we're like, "Oh shit!" And he's like, "And that's not all." And we're like, "For f***'s sake, Eric, when's it gonna end?" And it was so cool because it really gave a kind of grindhouse feel to it, like in terms of it feeling like a movie, and it was just an epic like few encounters and adventure.
Yeah, and I liked your move of shooting the dynamite off of that guy's hand, and it just blew off.
Yeah, that was awesome.
3 bad guys just went.
Yeah, I came back from a beer run just after that happened, and then the smoke was there that you created, those little cotton ball deals with the light. And as soon as Eric or Harrison's like, he's like, "Dude, I just shot the dynamite out of this guy's hand," and I'm looking, and there's this little tea light that flickers with the stuff on it. I'm like, that totally looks like dynamite fumes or smoke blowing up there. And I'm like, that is wickedly cool.
I was really happy about that move because it was such a badass move. But I felt a bit sorry for Eric because the Cougars and the other guy being in the fight would have been like a really cool dynamic thing to have in a fight, but I just blew them up in one shot. And well, I
have plenty more bad guys. So that wasn't.
As I was rolling the damage as well, I was like, I had to obviously roll 3d6 for each damage, and I was like, well, it's not all going to go well. They're not all going to die. But then it was like 27, 48, 50 million, and it was just like, yep, absolutely blew them up. But yeah, that was awesome. And Eric spent 6 months like creating props and things. I think you posted some of it online, didn't you?
Yeah, I did last week, and I'll post some more too. But you guys took some great pictures of it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll send those to you.
And yeah, I liked also one of the. Well, it was great to meet Corey Judd, Jennifer, and I think it was Chris. Yeah, they came all the way from Barrie, Ontario.
Wow.
Yeah, big whip. I came from England.
I came from Vancouver, man. Like, sorry, buddy.
No, it was really cool to meet them, and they were so fantastic.
Great role players too.
Yeah, because we had was it Jennifer? Was her name? She was playing Tony, who was like the
Tommy
one,
Blue, the one of the maid guys.
Made men. So yeah, they were our boss, and it was kind of funny because like, I was Winston and he's a performer, so I kind of always play him as like a kind of a mouthy guy, and he was being mouthy to everyone, but every time it came to Tommy I was like, I'm sorry about that, boss. And it was really funny. One of my favourite moments was when I was almost made to kiss Eric's shoe, and we actually kind of like lopped it out in real life. Because there was another made man that came along. His name was it Reno?
Remo. Yeah.
Remo, and this guy was like sort of really in with our boss, Looney John, and so he is like a made man, and we have to do what he says because we're only acquaintances, associates. And so this guy came along, and I was being really mouthy to him, and I was calling him a an idiot, all of this. And to be fair, that was my fault because I didn't realise. I thought he was an associate as well, and I was just mouthing off to him all of this. And the guy, when I realised that he was a made man, he was like, I'm going to tell your boss, kiss my shoe. And I was like, don't make me kiss the shoe, man. Don't make me kiss the shoe. And Eric actually came round the table, put his shoe onto a chair and was like, kiss the shoe. And I stood up, and then we were both like actually having it out. And then the girl that was playing Tommy was just like, saying, no, stop it, guys, stop it. And we started, it was like...
Yeah, just at the moment that I just took my foot off the chair, you were kind of...
I was just about to pull my gun out, yeah. It was crazy. So it would have actually been like a firefight. And then he was...
Tense.
So then Eric just kind of just cut it off and went, I'm only joking. It was so funny, man. It was so tense.
And there was a great interlude too. That was one of the highlights for me, Cody playing that...
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good. So all of the character sheets in this game have like these little interludes, and obviously most people who play Savage Worlds will know what these are, but they're little background stories that you can share about your character. And a lot of the Wise Guys pre-gens, well, all of them have these pre-written on them. And Cody shared one that was absolutely amazing. I can't remember what it was about. Can you remember?
Well, it was about him growing up in Montreal, going to see the expos.
Yeah, supposed to go see a
going
baseball
to the
game.
races, and that his dad was a loser and
Lost all his money, and when they got home, they didn't have any money. And so his dad said to him, he says, "Listen, son, in life, you're either winning or you're losing. And I'm losing." And then he walked out the door, and I think that was the last that he ever saw of his dad.
Or she kicked him out or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was like, and it was like really emotional, and it was like this point where everyone at the table just stopped and listened, and it was like so fucking cinematic and cool, and it was just like that.
So good, I gave him 2 bennies for it.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
Man, that was awesome.
So yeah, there was a bit of everything. There was a little bit of combat, there's tense moment, role play, dramatic task interludes.
Yeah, there was comedy. It had a cool ending as well, where I tried to nick the money, and then everyone started fighting over it, and I tried to escape in a monster truck, but James and Jay caught up to me and shot me in the back of the head.
When we were playtesting Wise Guys, didn't you try and steal the money too that started the whole thing?
Yep.
With the same character?
With the same character. That's why I did it again. But I was thinking, my reasoning behind it was 2 things. First of all, with thieves and he's a pickpocket. Second of all, it was a one shot, and I thought it'd be a cool ending because if we get to the money, I thought it'd be a nice ending to all of this. I know it's your game, but like my point is that I thought it'd be fun.
So yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was good, man. The props were fantastic. We're going to have to start calling you like Laurel Lamoureux.
What does that mean?
Well, instead of Carl Kiesler.
Oh god, that was so Gary.
You can be
that
Laurel.
was so
You can be Laurel instead of Carl. You'll never be Carl, but you could be Laurel.
Yeah.
Laurel Lamoureux.
Eric
take
Liesler.
Right?
I'll take that.
Eric Liesler.
Carl's the man, so
Oh, he is.
Exactly 0 people laughed at that joke just then.
Sorry.
That's alright, don't worry about it. We're used to it,
I know
Gary.
nobody in this room laughed at it. I seriously, when you have to explain a joke, it's pretty bad.
So yeah, it's Saturday night, and we're gonna go party a little bit, and then
they have
everybody's
some
gonna
music.
go back to sleep because go back to bed because you guys are leaving early. Well, Harrison is.
Yeah, I'm leaving early, man. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta pack my shit. I bought way too much shit at this con. I bought Low Life by Andy Hop. I got to meet Andy Hop actually. That's a Savage Worlds highlight for us.
Yep.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
Super nice
and
guy.
we got
I mean, does
a
he listen to
review
this
coming up.
podcast?
I doubt it.
No, I don't.
He looks exactly like Danny DeVito then, I can
Yep.
say that. I mean, exactly
He knows.
like.
He knows.
Yeah. But that is crazy though, isn't it? Do you think Danny DeVito just has a side job as an RPG writer, but he's not cool enough, so he doesn't want to tell
I
people?
just think some people tell Danny DeVito that he looks like Andy Hop.
Yeah, probably.
Right, but anyway, Low Life looks cool. Bye.
All right, bye guys.
So long, sayonara. Con
No,
was
maybe
great.
we should do a better outro than that.
This is Gladys saying, change your sanitary napkin.
No, we're not doing the ending. This is a wrap up. So overall, what did you guys think of the con? Did you like it?
It's fantastic. Love it.
Had fun. Yeah.
It's good times.
Don't sound too excited, Eric.
It was good.
No, I got to try some new games, and the Savage Rules games were good. Well, the ones that I was in, anyway.
Man, you should have played Ghost Town Grannies.
Oh, you would have loved it.
Man, I would have loved to hear you fucking bitch about it. That's
I don't think you would have made it. I think you would have literally got up and walked out. It was that insane.
Probably. But yeah, the main highlight for me was to we're finally together.
I know, it's crazy,
right?
man. I couldn't believe it. On the first night, it was really sweet because on the first night when we were all sleeping in the hotel room together, Gary just went. I was literally just about to go to sleep. Like I was nodding off, and I was just like almost about to go to sleep, and Gary went, Harrison. And I was like, what? And he goes, we're in America together, man. I was like, yeah, it's so cool, man. It's so good to meet you guys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really weird doing this face to face for the first time in 2 years. Like every second Sunday for the last 2 years, we've been talking to one another through Skype.
I know, it's crazy. Like now, I'm recording this on my phone, but it's probably going to be better audio quality than it's ever been because we're together.
That's true. So yeah, see you in 2 weeks, and grab your sword by the balls.
Nice. Lube up, ladies. This interview is over, but not over.
Was that your new outro, is it?
Well, just for this one particular episode.
Alright, grapple the skies, everyone.
The Wild Die Podcast is not affiliated with or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group or official Pinnacle licensees. Any of the products mentioned on our show or appear on our website are the property and copyright of their respective owners. All music and artwork is used with permission of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. All items are used under fair use and educational and review purposes. All other items are the intellectual property of the Wild Die Podcast.